Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
What's up, Bo? How are you?
I could feel my guts coming out. It was the most vivid, horrible dream. I told some Australian dude about the dream, and he asked right away if I was on this malaria medication. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you got to stop taking that right now. Stop taking it. And I stopped taking it. But he was on this stuff. And so in a train station in India, he gets complete amnesia. Doesn't know his name. Doesn't know. Would you mind looking up the name of the book for me, Jamie, so I'm not a dick and don't even say the name of his book? It's a great book, by the way. Doesn't know his name, has no idea where he's at, who he is, has to, so they're like, they have to put him in a home in India. I think he punched a nurse. He was so confused and fucking out of it. And yeah, man, I mean, I asked him if he thinks it's because of that, you know, what happened to him. And he's like, I don't know. It's been a long time since that happened, but you can't rule it out.
Oh, my God.
This shit is bad news.
Dave Foley got on it because his family was going to Africa for a vacation, and he had to take malaria medication in order to meet them there. And so he was taking this malaria medication, and you're not supposed to drink on it.
No. Dave
enjoys a drink or two.
Yeah.
So we were at one of these press things where the actors meet with the press people, and Dave got super hostile with this reporter, and the guy was trying to talk to him with a little tape recorder, and Dave took his tape recorder away and dunked it in his drink. And and Dave was like getting really angry with him, and no one could figure out what was going on. And I had to like corner him. I had to like stop him from like physically going after a reporter.
Fuck.
Yeah, and he had no recollection of it. The next day he came in for the table read, and he was like sort of apologizing to everybody. He's like, I'm on this malaria medication, and I really don't remember anything that happened. And I was like, dude, I had to keep you from kicking someone's ass.
Dude, I can't believe they're still giving
Dave
it to
Foley
people.
is the sweetest guy ever lived.
This is, it's called The Answer to the Question Is Me. It's the book. But in the book, he talks about so many people have been wrecked by this shit.
Yeah.
And like the way it was manufactured and stuff. And I guess it's like, when you put a kink in a garden hose, you're basically doing that with your so many people. What are the connectors? The dendrites. You're like clogging up all your neuroreceptors, and then all of a sudden, sometimes it just rushes out, and then you're blasted. People have permanent damage from this shit.
Do they still give it to people?
I think so. I wish I could remember the name of it. God, Jesus, maybe.
What is the cure for malaria? Like if you get malaria?
No idea.
Is like it worth getting and getting over it? Do you get any immunity? The FDA approved use for treating and preventing malaria in 1989, but in the 1990s, stories began to surface regarding some serious side effects among patients who took mefloquine. Yeah, this is the stuff that Justin Wren took, right? Including vivid dreams and nightmares, hallucinations, mania, seizures, depression, suicidal thoughts, and suicide and homicide.
Yeah, dude. This shit is bad news. Bad news.
Suicide and homicide. It can cause you to murder people? Cases of chloroquine-induced psychosis have been reported since 1958. Wow.
Depersonalization, anxiety, derealization, and visual hallucinations.
I wonder if that hydroxychloroquine shit they're giving people at the beginning of COVID did that.
I was wondering that when I heard about it. Like, what is that going to do to people?
Is hydroxychloroquine what they use for malaria as well? Put hydroxychloroquine. Because hydroxychloroquine is like, it became connected inexorably to COVID misinformation.
Right.
Right? Donald Trump, you're a Trumper, you're a MAGA supporter, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work. It became like locked into that, which is really interesting. So it's a immunosuppressive drug and anti-parasite. It can treat and prevent malaria. So it's for malaria. It can also treat lupus and arthritis. Whoa.
That's cool.
I mean, yeah, but meanwhile, it's fucking MAGA. It's a MAGA drug. Isn't it wild that a drug can get labeled as like a foolish drug to take? Like if you told people today that you're taking ivermectin, they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you take that?
Yeah, that was a whole,
You're not a horse. Come on, y'all. Get
Yeah.
your shit together." Remember that?
Dude, listen, as a former fan of ketamine, I would always get offended because people are like, isn't that a horse tranquilizer? And you want to be like,
That was
no.
a cat tranquilizer.
Exactly. But it's like, first of all, if you do get the animal ketamine, because they don't give a fuck about the animals. Like the human
So they give you
stuff
the real
is
shit.
less psychedelic. The cat shit, they're like, I don't care if you trip out. It's a fucking cat.
Imagine your cat just fucking tripping balls, lying there like that bunny.
Talking to aliens, merging with space-time, seeing their past lives.
I remember when Neil Brennan did it. Neil Brennan did it, and he came up to me at the store and he was telling me about it. He's like, dude, he goes, I thought, it's going to be just like, mild or something. I was tripping balls at a doctor's office with an IV drip.
Dude,
For depression.
glory be to God. And the interesting data behind it is that experience, some people don't have it. And it is irrelevant to treatment. So if you go in there and you get it and you don't trip out, I'm sorry. But if you don't, it still will have some statistical probability of mitigating your depression.
Oh, so some people don't experience the psychedelic effect?
No, apparently not, which I don't understand at all.
Well, they say that about DMT as well. That there's a certain percentage of the population it just doesn't work on.
Maybe it's the way they're metabolizing it or something. I don't know, but it's irrelevant to, because in when I was in my theory on it, my woo-woo theory on it was, the reason it's like treating depression is because it's reminding you that you're not your body. It's reminding you that your body is just an aspect of what you are, and there's some relief from that memory of like, oh yeah, I'm not just me. There's much more going on here than just me, and then you're not depressed anymore. But no, that isn't it at all. It's having some physiological effect on the human brain that is treating depression. So it's not like a wisdom that comes from the visionary state.
The weird thing about depression, when we think about it as like a disease. And we never think about it as a state of mind that can be manipulated. We think like if a person has depression, like you want to be respectful. And that person clearly, they have a problem. There's a medical problem. We need to get them help because they have depression. But everyone that I know that's had depression, where their life got better, their depression mitigated.
Dude.
What
Yeah.
if your life sucks, of course, you're going to be depressed. Like, part of that must be some sort of strategy, some evolutionary advantage to someone who feels that discomfort and then acts because of it. It must be what it is.
100, dude. It's despair. It's like
Right.
the way you get calluses. You're having a rough time long enough. Some physiological corollary for what you're going through forms inside of you, and so that's depression. I think is the
To
physical,
let you know you're doing the wrong shit.
and to in some way to just numb you down to like it's your body's sad attempt to like help you reduce pain. I think,
Right.
and
When someone tries, it's like someone trying to annoy you to change. You're like, Jesus Christ, leave me alone. Stop
Yeah.
annoying me. This
Yeah.
is not how to do it. This is not how to get me to not be depressed.
No.
That's not how to get me to act and do positive things
Never
that are going
works.
to enrich my life and make me happy and fulfilled.
No.
By just making me feel shittier and shittier with every chip I eat.
yeah, dude.
Just shittier and just more depressed and more sad. No matter what you've ever done in your life, in that moment you feel like a fucking loser.
You do. It's it's the it's like it's another form of gravity. Like that's the other aspect of depression is you literally feel heavy. Like your
Yes.
bed feels like a magnet. Like it's so you're getting drawn into this like invisible gravity of despair, and that gravity, the more you let it grab you, the more entropic you become, the weaker you become. And
Yeah.
it's just pulling you. It's literally pulling you into the earth. It's
Literally
it's
pulling you
pulling you down into the earth. It's so fucked up, dude. I thought I had seasonal affective disorder, which is where in the winter you get depressed. but then it was diabetes. Dude, I was fucking my depression. I'm pretty positive was.
Well, talk about what we talked about today with the fucking vapes.
Oh my god. Yeah, so like a little over a month ago, found out I had type 2 diabetes. Immediately cut out all sugar, cut out like just all sugar. And
First of all, talk about that, because you started texting me like 5 days later. You're like, what the fuck, dude? I can't believe how good I feel. Oh my God, I've been poisoning myself.
born again, man. It was the best, because I have ball cancer. I can't get on like some of the awesome fucking meds I'd like to get on. But having chatted with people who have like enjoyed testosterone therapy and stuff, and they're like, I feel like I'm a kid again. It's like that. Like it was a 2-day headache, 2 days, shit headache, rotten headache. And then suddenly it's like I'm in a new life. I don't nap anymore. I was like a big napper. I love napping.
Isn't that crazy that that's what that is?
Oh my God. Nappers out there, you probably, if you're doing what I did, you're just sort of like, you romanticize the napping thing.
Yeah.
I would think it's a siesta. This is like it's completely, my kids take naps. This is normal. Yeah, dude, it was like the naps are, not to say that every once in a while I won't get sleepy and take a nap, but that's like, I was doing it as much as I could every day. Like, all these assumptions that I was making regarding age. Like, this must just be part of being old. I guess I'm slowing down now. No, you have fucking diabetes. You're like a candied apple. I am so lucky I didn't die. And so, yeah, like it's one of the most miraculous things that has happened to me ever. It's insane. Like this, it's part of the reason that like I'm like regularly exercising, because I just oh my God, dude, mood swings. I was having these fucking mood swings.
Getting insulin spikes.
And insulin spikes. But I'm thinking seasonal affective disorder, or maybe some like undiagnosed mania. I guess this is just, I'm in one of those moods again. Now that I've been like taking my fucking blood sugar, I know this level, this is what I feel like. And I can tell when it's up just by like how I start feeling. And so, yeah, the vaping story, I keep thinking of Tony Hinchcliffe relentlessly roasting me for ear beating people about my diabetes. I don't want to do it much longer. He's so, I love it when he starts fucking, tell us more about your diabetes. But yeah, I went on a family trip where I was vaping like much less than I do. And suddenly my blood sugar starts leveling out. Like I would wake up, which is the important number when you wake up, your fasting blood sugar would be like non-diabetic normal. Get back to Austin, and then because I'm in my studio, start vaping like an idiot again, and all of a sudden the blood sugar starts getting fucking weird. And, I'm thinking like, what did I eat? Like, what have I put in my body? Because I've cut out all sugar. Like, what is it? Is it like, what's getting into me? Is it the milk that I put creamer in my coffee? I'm so dumb. I'm like smoking cherry cola vapes. What could it be? What could be the culprit behind this? And then, so like I quit vaping, and
So we found out today. We Googled it today.
Yeah.
That a lot of these vapes have sugar in them, and
shocker.
Alcohol sugar, or sugar alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, totally like. Totally, I mean, but again, it's like, yeah,
of course,
they're bad for you.
Also, they have flavor. Like, what do you think that flavor is made out of?
I think it's coming. You think they're using all natural ingredients at the vape factory?
Yeah. What's making that fake strawberry taste?
Dude, I know. I was like honestly bummed out when I realized I was going to have to say goodbye to my pacifier. But
yeah, but that pacifier is weird because it's only good the first hit or two.
True.
And then something happens, and then you're just chasing this dragon that you never get.
You're just demolishing, and
you're just sucking on it, and nothing's happening. You just feel anxiety.
And you know what it was, man? Another 2-day headache. I went through another 2-day fucking shit withdrawal period, and now I don't give a shit about them. Like I've been thinking, like, how many of us are 2 days away from the kingdom of heaven, like 2 days away from, and the only thing keeping us from it is like a mildly annoying headache.
Yep.
It's so sad.
It is sad. It's weird too. It's sad and weird.
Did you see this video a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, bunch of kids testing them.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, that's what you're making out with every time you're.
Yeah,
These poor kids that probably have lung diseases.
dude.
Like, what kind of diseases do they get working in this factory testing vapes?
When I was in the throes of vape addiction, and I saw that, I honestly was like, that seems nice. Like,
They're meticulously inspecting all of them. These guys are just blasting vapes all day.
They probably is a counterfeit place, but even
Elf Bar
still.
swiftly clarified the factory seen in the video is entirely unrelated to their operations.
oh, that's good news.
Elf Bar CEO Victor Zhao expressed his concern, stating consumers would be condition under which these products are produced. I don't remember what it said. It's a valid concern. These revelations coincide with the Food and Drug Administration's struggles to control unauthorized flavor vaping products pouring in from China. Health authorities have raised alarms about the flavored disposable vapes, especially due to their popularity amongst young people. In June, the FDA took the decisive action. This sounds like propaganda, compelling all 180 stores across the U.S. See, maybe they paid people to do this just so they could put that video out there on TikTok and try to ban vapes.
I
Maybe
mean-
it's the fucking R.J. Reynolds is losing money.
Dude, I can't
Maybe
even
that's it.
imagine.
I
What
mean,
a
I would
hit.
imagine. They probably took a big hit when people started vaping.
Yeah, I mean, primitive fucking cigarettes, but
Oh, yeah.
they don't fucking blast your blood sugar, man. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah, those vapes, you're getting some sugar. And if you're sucking on it like you do, boy, you're hitting that bad
you
boy all
saw
day
me
long.
doing it.
Ooh.
Just bad
Yeah.
news. I'm such an addict, dude. Just fucking puffing away on
But
those
I think,
things.
like, for your brain, the Zyn pouches and these Rogue pouches, they're the best in terms of, like, the cognitive benefits of nicotine. Like, I feel them the most.
Yeah,
And they don't make me lightheaded and weird.
no.
The vape thing, what I like about the vape thing is the first hit. It's like, wee. That's what I like.
Oh, yeah.
I like that wee. You know what I used to like it? I used to like it right after I got done working out. So I would do all my shit in the morning, then I'd be driving to work, and I'd take a big blast of it right when I'm starting to drive to work. Just wee. Everything's beautiful. But that never comes back.
No.
You only get that like for the first hit. But then you always want to try to recreate it, so you try to hit it again, but it's
Yeah.
never there.
Never,
It's never there.
Never fucking there.
Never there.
Yeah, never there. Yeah, I mean, for all my vape friends out there, I'm not shaming you. If you don't have diabetes, you know,
Yeah.
keep vaping.
Yeah, if you don't have diabetes, whatever.
Don't keep
But
vaping, but I mean, if you don't have, it's like if you
not
have,
a good habit. It's a weird habit because I don't think it does much for you.
well,
I think there's really something to there's something in nicotine. There's without a doubt there's
sure.
a cognitive benefit to nicotine that's actually been demonstrated. Like they've done some studies on nicotine, and nicotine also has some sort of a neuroprotective effect. Like Huberman's talked pretty extensively about nicotine, the benefits of nicotine.
Yeah.
But he's very, very anti-vape.
well, I mean, you know, with all whatever your favorite consciousness expander is, you know, I just love the ethic of personal responsibility. Like, you have to be responsible for yourself. You have to recognize when you have become imprisoned by the damn thing.
Right.
And I'm so good at pretending I'm not imprisoned by.
But you're used to doing it with video games.
Dude, that's what I'm talking. Exactly. Like all of these. I don't mean to keep harping on this dumb idea that I just had this morning. Is like, it's these gravitational fields, right? And like, inevitably you become sucked in to this thing or that, and it produces astounding imbalance in your life. But the imbalance, you can trick yourself into pretending the imbalance isn't really there, and that's addicts were very good at that. So it's denial or whatever, ignorance. So you ignore the imbalance. You ignore, like, you don't check in with your body, or you assume that your shitty feeling is normal. You normalize the day-to-day shit feeling, and then to begin to like pull things out of your environment and see how you feel when they're gone, it's very hard to do because you're glued to the damn thing. It's a pacifier, whatever it may be. So it's like I'm lucky, man, because like without diabetes, I'm a dad. I can't have a fucking stroke. I can't have a heart attack.
Right.
So that was all I needed to like
We serve the
wake me the
Emperor.
fuck up.
Yeah, you can get trapped because it doesn't feel like it's impacting you that much every day. Every day, I feel the same. I feel the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of a buzz.
Yeah.
But no.
You could, it's just, if it was like augmented reality, if there was a way to feel like, if you could see like a anaconda that wrapped itself around you, slowly tightening and tightening and tightening. Don't tread on me! Yeah, man, I think
Units, assemble!
like the universe as like I like and it seems like it's part of the curriculum is having weight that we're sort of karmically we're stuck when you start like waking up or whatever you want to call it or wanting a better life. The first thing you notice is like where you're stuck, where you're trapped.
Yeah.
And then every time you just lift that up just a little, you get this sense of something. The feeling is freedom. It's like you've been in a dark room, you don't sleep up for a second. You get this little glimpse of light. And then you start like breathing a little bit here and there. And then all of a sudden, you're in a different universe. It's a different reality. And I think that maybe that's built in to the thing that we're in right now is that you're supposed to have some encumbrance. You're supposed to have some stupid shit you're doing repetitively that's hurting you. And not because the universe is evil, but because it's there to teach you. It's like, it's your friend.
Well, you need a force to act against in order to
Serve the Emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
Close up!
if you really believe that we're here to create artificial life, which I think you would need those forces. You need these things
Anytime I shift my thinking sense of whatever the fuck I happen to be like stuck in to like, oh, this is like a trainer. Like this thing is your coach. It's your group. You want to talk about the real group? It's your fucking vape addiction. It's your over drinking. It's like that thing is teaching you better than any book or any person
Formation! Hold steady!
Follow me! Come!
Champions of the East!
But knowing that, I'm not talking about but this is because like
We serve the Emperor!
there's like the human reality.
Units, assemble! Get going! Attack! Follow the commander!
You're doing your fucking self. You're an alcoholic. You're addicted to meth. Whatever the fuck you're addicted. Some of the things going on in life, you're not doing to yourself. You're in some shitty part of the world. You're experiencing some tragedy in your family. You're not doing that to yourself. So but this is just one part of the story. The other part of the story
Your unit is retreating.
for the self to even exist, you have to have this awareness or consciousness or emptiness is what they call it in Buddhism. For any of this shit to be here, there has to be space around it. So you're also the space too. You're not just the stuff. And so when shit's going wrong, you get sucked into stuff. You're fixating and differentiating. This is good, this is bad. To try to protect yourself, you lose track of the other side of things, which is this infinite, transcendent, perfect field of awareness. And that is not touched by the world. So even in the worst of conditions, if you can remember that part of you and not just the part of you that is undergoing God knows what kind of suffering, then suddenly there's a way to manage the situation that others can react to. That's the thing in the old days, the only way I found it was where suddenly you're no longer encumbered by your thoughts. You're no longer fixated. You know, and then suddenly you're like, remember, it's not like you implanted something. It's like,
Like you know at the base of
You secure this position.
ready?
And ready.
that's it. And but like, so that's relative reality is the not. If you get too caught up in the other side, though, then you like detach from the world, and then another kind of imbalance happens. That's called eternalism or absolutism, and now you aren't, in the class anymore. Now you're like being all aloof and shit. Like that dude in Breakfast Club. Remember that annoying guy in Breakfast Club with the trench coat? Now you're all aloof to the world. Oh, I'm not of this place. Da, 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 da.
That's such a defense mechanism.
You do, absolutely.
Yeah.
So because both are happening, so you have to hold both. Like that's the idea.
Right.
You have to figure out a way to like exist in relative and absolute reality together. Now that's
the final bunny.
That's the final bunny.
Hey Surf, how you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Things are going all right for me. Just having a nice chill Friday.
I just wonder how it...
Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Appreciate it. Sorry I didn't see your message earlier.
I would have never believed that you would have a cell phone on you all the time.
Exactly.
That allows you to communicate with people and take pictures and videos. I would have never thought that was going to happen. If you told me in like '98 that like a Motorola StarTech, like those little shitty phones with the antenna that pulled out, and you remember those? They had a replaceable battery in the back. If you told me that within 20 years, because it's really all it was, you would be watching video on that and making video and FaceTiming people and getting Wi-Fi on it. Anywhere you go, you're connected to the internet with high speed.
Cool.
Movies and viewing all kinds of websites. You get all your information from that. You would get all your social interaction from that. People would be dating off of that. No one saw it coming. So who knows what's coming next?
Dude,
no.
Yeah, 20 years from now,
Sure,
brother,
but-
you told me 20 years ago that I could disassemble myself at the molecular level and transform into anything I wanted instantaneously. And I would have been like, that's insane. There's no way. I'm going to be stuck in this form forever. I mean, it could be Kurzweil. That's not that Kurzweil. That's one of his predictions. Nanobots, like transforming our DNA at the molecular level.
Yeah.
Like, CRISPR, but CRISPR from home. You can download a new DNA configuration.
But if that happens, that's what's going to be really weird. Because if people could just be any form, if you like like if someone wants to be transgender, how about you actually become a real woman? Like, how about you actually have double X chromosomes? How about you actually have a vagina and tits, and you can look like Marilyn Monroe? Like, you can, like, we're so close to being able to make fake life.
Dude.
Right? So how far, when they're doing, like, DNA printing, like, what do you, like, where does that go? Is that, like, I was saying that the other day, isn't that the original Atari Pong, which is, like, so primitive? And then you look at the Unreal 5 engine with shadows and dust, and it looks, like, realistic. Like, is that what's going to be happening with these DNA printers? Are they going to be able to make life forms?
Dude, for sure. I mean, we are the whole culture wars over transgenderism are the foreshock of what's coming. Like, already, like, that has produced rifts.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Who would have ever thought that?
Who would have
ever thought that gender was going to be a focus?
But the real focus is identity itself. That's where we're headed. It's like we are so about to have a midlife crisis as our species because we have really become convinced regarding what identity is, even though we don't know, which is why AI is so hilarious, because people are like, that thing isn't self-aware, it's not sentient. It's like, are you? Have you thought about whether you even are? Like, how do we even identify consciousness at all, quantify it? We don't know how to do it. The very thing that makes us what we are, we have no way of really understanding what it is, how it works. There's theories of consciousness, no one fucking knows. And so this is what we're slamming into now. And then the moment you can inject yourself or take some medicine or go to some like robot doctor and be like, hey, you know, for the next couple of weeks, I want to experience life as a Filipino.
Yeah.
And so you take some shit that transforms you into whatever ethnicity, gender, maybe animal that you want. Now what are we going to do about that? Like, what if I just want to experience life as a Native American? If I do that, is that cultural appropriation?
Of course it is, because you don't have a mental history being a Native American. But if we can download that into you as well, Duncan,
there you go.
Then you're okay, because now you're not trans anymore. Now you're an actual Native American.
Dude.
So now we can create artificial memories, and then we have people running around that really believe they came off the fucking Mayflower.
Dude, and I it's coming, baby.
It's coming in all forms. Vikings, everything.
Everything. And at the root of it, I think, is a general insecurity in most humans, because most people at some level understand you're not really what you say you are. You're not really your body. You're not really some constant identity. You change all the fucking time.
Right.
You might work really hard to maintain some stable, this is me thing, but you know that's not really what you are, who you are. And I think this is, for a lot of people, this is unpalatable.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, I think we're about to smash into the most hilarious era in human history. Arguments over the humans' right to become anything they want.
Right. That's going to be really
We guard
weird,
the frontier.
because you can become a super genius that's also gigantic.
Yeah.
What's to stop you from being a 9-foot tall Hulk?
Nothing. And it's going to hurt those poor motherfuckers who've been shattering their legs to get taller. You know about that? Like,
oh, that's so crazy.
I think they do it at home with sledgehammers. Like,
yeah. Well, no, they do it with like a screw that they cut their bone and they attach it with this thing where they have it like a millimeter apart, and then you keep separating with this screw. It's wild,
dude.
And then once you do it, now the whole proportions of your body are goofy. So like athletics are out the window. Like, I don't even know if you can run anymore. I mean, I don't know what is it? Is there any success stories from people that have done that, and you see them running and stuff?
Dude,
I want to say it seems crazy. Because your proportions, this is what you grew up with. All your ligaments, all your tendons, all your muscles.
Your back must get all fucked up.
How does it not? So these are guys that you can see them taller, but can you see them doing stuff? I know it works. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram that he was already a big guy. He was like 6 feet tall or 6 foot 2.
Get bigger.
He wanted to get bigger, and he gained like 6 inches. So I just want to see, like, has anybody done it? Can you run? Can you kick a bag? Can you lift weights? Like, what can you do?
Is this the same guy?
Right.
He's at the gym. I mean, it's
Like
not
his
really
upper
active.
body,
Here's-
but I want to see, like, see, look how he's walking.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Oh man.
New achievement unlocked. He
might
can
have just
walk.
had the surgery though.
I don't think so, dude. I think you're in crutches for a long time.
How?
Yeah, this guy that I'm watching on Instagram, go to Instagram, go to Got My Knees Done.
An enemy siege tower is preparing to advance.
Units, assemble.
Ready for battle.
To advance.
As you command.
So this guy
The enemy
was
battering ram
already
is
gigantic.
Ready
preparing
for
to
battle.
advance.
He was already a big, huge guy. And he's
As you
only
command.
6 inches taller. So he's been
Ready
doing
for
this,
battle.
and you know,
Yes,
he's
Commander.
As you
now
command.
rebuilding his legs.
The right
He's
siege
documenting
tower is
it.
the enemy battering ram is advancing. The right siege
Ready
tower
for
is
battle.
advancing.
They
Yes,
just
Commander.
separate your. You see now he's
The
like
middle
walking,
siege tower is
like,
advancing.
As you command.
Look how big his arms are, and then his legs are still all fucked up from the surgery.
As you command.
Man.
But
Enemy
the thing
battering
is, like,
ram is
at the end
advancing.
of it, can you run? Like, are you like barely walking? Like, I've never seen anybody. He's like pressing some legs.
Doing
He's trying to
presses.
But he's strengthening his legs. You know, that's like part of the rehabilitation process. Doesn't mean it's very heavy. But well, my question is like success stories. So Google leg strengthening success stories. Like, not just are you taller, but are you fucked now? Like, what happens?
Yes,
Seems
commander.
like you'd be fucked. Like, imagine if your shin was all of a sudden 6 inches longer.
Seems like it.
You'd be all like,
Seems like it would
you
be
wouldn't even know how to step.
Fire.
You'd be
hurt.
like,
So they have metal in their legs after
you'd be
that.
like flipping, stepping weird and shit. I mean, I guess eventually you would adapt to it, but fuck, man. And then 6 years from now, all I have to do is just press the button. And
Hurry
you're
up!
7 feet tall.
There you
today.
go.
And you're just like, I'm just eating steaks so I can catch up with the molecular structure change of.
Dude, it's gonna be a sad day for all the body mod people.
The enemy
because it's
battering
like,
ram has
fuck,
reached the
dude,
gates.
you did this like
Ready
relatively
for battle.
like
Units, assemble.
primitive, savage fucking therapy, and just right around the corner.
Most of our
As you
patients
command.
are able to
Our
run
gate
just
has
like
been
before
destroyed.
after they've fully recovered from their height
Most.
increase surgery. But it's important to know that
Ready
everyone's
for
journey
battle.
is a bit
Our
different.
gate has
In the
been
beginning, you
destroyed.
might find your endurance isn't
As
what
you
used to,
command.
of course, or you might run a bit slower, or even notice your walking style's changed a bit. This is all normal. The key is to be patient with yourself and listen to what your body's telling you. Sometimes you might need a more physical therapy, or you might need a more physical therapy.
Get
Or
into
in
position.
rare cases, another surgery to address any instances that are issues rather that arise. But I want to see.
This just says they
Can you
have
just show me? Just can you Google post leg
The
strengthening?
left siege tower has reached the middle siege tower has reached the walls.
it there? There's no room.
After me. Understood.
Leg
just
lengthening
walking.
surgery gone wrong.
It's the same guy here.
It's really weird.
The right siege tower has reached the walls.
You know,
That's extreme.
with a neural lace, the dream would be instead of getting leg lengthening surgery, you change your brain so you don't care how tall you are.
Mm.
That fixes the whole problem.
An enemy battering ram has been destroyed.
You're late, you're 5'1".
Well, you don't care about getting laid anymore. You take that out of your system too.
Become an alien. So this guy's at it.
He's not moving very well, but
So he gained 7 centimeters. What is that in inches?
Ready for battle. As you command.
Well,
Form up.
How it goes.
As
but
you
look at
command.
how it's like the way we react to people doing that is
Yeah.
like we recoil. There is built into us. It's like the idea is the avatar that you were born with, and whatever this simulation is, you don't get to change that avatar. You keep the avatar the way it
As
is.
you command.
There's you could do like
Form up!
shifts to the avatar by
Yes,
losing
Commander.
weight, gaining weight, getting muscles, dye your hair, get a wig. But the moment you start changing that avatar in like extreme ways, people are like, you can't do that. You change your avatar.
Well, I'm just worried
Ready
about
for battle.
the long-term consequences of this. I'm not worried about like if there was a way
Get
they could do
going!
it and just do
Yes,
it.
Commander.
I mean, I'm just thinking, how many success stories? Like, what is the long-term history of this? Like, how many people have done
As
it?
you
Like,
command.
what is it? What's the effect on your hips long-term? This guy did it a long time ago.
yeah, this guy's doing squatting, running, and some like high knees and stuff.
Wow.
It worked. Look at that. Fine.
Ready for
So
battle.
he's been doing.
As you
How
command.
long is he out of surgery?
The enemy has captured
He
point
looks
A.
like a regular athlete. He doesn't look like he's having any problems.
No problems.
But he also has like those pads over his shins, which lead me to think that he still has little scars there.
But everyone who watches him jump winces because they think his legs are going to snap.
That's him running?
Form up.
This looks like before. Right here in the description it says wasn't able to sprint all out, but
Do
could
agility.
do stuff
A year later.
after and regain full athletic ability.
Surpassing my previous best prior to leg lifting and surgery. Interesting.
There's one example.
Fucking
Yes,
cool.
Commander.
I love it, man. I can't wait to see the hybrid humans that are going to just be right around the corner, man.
Units, assemble. Yes,
Yeah, for sure
Commander.
rings. That's going to be
Quick.
the first thing. That's gonna be the eagle.
Form up.
Commander.
I want.
Yes,
Holy.
Commander.
Quick. Man.
Oh, dude.
Holy.
Unfold your wings when you go on stage.
Quick.
Because going on stage, we
Bandit.
descend down on the stage. We don't walk through the curtains.
Bandit.
Yes. Are you fucking kidding me? Funny jokes you could do if you could fly.
Units, assemble. Form up. Assemble. Into position. Get into position.
You're fishing and Joe Rogan swoops down.
Ready? Follow me.
Dude, dolphin. I want to go aquatic, baby. You stick to the skies, I'm going under. I want to get down there and explore and
Right
just go
siege
into
tower
the
has
sea.
reached the wall.
There's a book called Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and they talked about how there's wizards who can turn themselves into dolphins. But the problem is, if you stay a dolphin long enough, you forget that you're a wizard, and you never come back to being a wizard. You just stay out there. So, but
Whoa.
people would be disappearing into the ocean. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna be a whale, and then you're just like,
Form
you
up.
know, that was a dream, the whole human thing. I'm just gonna stay whale.
The enemy has
Swim
captured
around.
point B.
Quickly.
That's what
Hurry
that's
up!
what God did. See what it's like to be some limited thing. It's that great Alan Watts essay. See what it's like to be some limited fucking thing on a planet floating in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to remember I'm God. I'm just gonna fucking plod around for a little bit.
Well, if we're a part of everything, and the universe is God,
Form
that's
up.
what I think. I've been thinking about that more and more.
Units,
This idea that
assemble.
God created the universe. Maybe, or maybe the universe
Form
is
up.
God.
No
I mean, doesn't that
enemy
make
will
more sense
move
if
us.
it's everything? If it's everything is one thing.
Yeah.
And then
Form up.
your
It is an
role
honor to
in
serve.
it as a thing, as an intelligent thing, is getting whatever you are to a point where you transcend physical space.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And
You
you,
become the final boss. And that's, I think that's what all of our cultural struggles, all of our struggles over resources, all the battle that keeps us moving against it to further and progress the human race. Like all the outrage, those professors weren't capable of saying that calling for the death of Jews is hate speech or is harassment. All that is there. People outraged enough. There was, oh my, this is insanity. We have to change the way we think. This is fucking insanity. This discussion is actually being had in 2023. But if it was subtle enough that
The enemy captured the point.
fuck out, it wouldn't be good enough for change.
Open fire.
it's like you. First, though, you gotta get a taste of it. Like, you know, the saddest video. I hate it. You ever see that video of the polar bear when it snows? He's in a zoo. And now it's snowed, and the polar bear's rolling around in the fucking snow. Finally, everything makes sense to the polar bear. It's the snow. There's snow. It's been in a
Units,
snow-free
assemble.
environment. So if we're the universe and simultaneously singular individuals, then we're made to be much more than we are. And if you're all squashed into your fucking body, the moment you get any kind of respite from that, remember.
Prepare to
You're
fire!
gonna be nicer to people. Like if I'm living, if you and me are living,
Australia and
if you and me are living in a bachelor pad, how long before we start fighting, man? How long before we start irritating the shit out of each other?
Well, you and I lived together for 6 months.
You had a big ass house.
But we didn't irritate each other.
No, I'm saying if you take any, I don't care, take the Dalai Lama and Ram Dass and put him in a tiny little fucking room.
Right, they'd eventually get on each other's nerves.
So,
them!
so if you're living in a compressed reality where you've become convinced that you are all you are, your body is all you
Guardians of the East!
then naturally you're going to panic. Naturally you're going to feel claustrophobic. Naturally you're going to be a dick.
Guardians
So
of the
if
East!
Suddenly you had a
The enemy captured the
realization
point.
that no, you're everything. You're more than that. The next thing spontaneously that will emerge from you
spread
is
the bird.
kindness, compassion. It might not be like you might not become the sweetest person on earth, but shit people say to you,
Your
it's not
unit
gonna
is
hit as
retreating.
hard because, like, if you were in a dream where somebody was insulting you in the worst way possible and you thought it was real, you're getting your feelings hurt over and over again in the dream, and then you remember, oh, I'm gonna wake up. This isn't.
The enemy has
This is a
captured
dream.
C.
That insulting thing isn't going to hurt as much. It's not going to hit you as hard. You're not going to take it personally. So this is, you're totally right. It's like the moment people start remembering what we are, everything will shift. Everything will change. Everything does change. Because everyone's fucking suffering so much. You know, these fucking professors, whoever the fuck it is, whoever's belting out outrage and anger and whatever, you can be certain of one thing: they don't feel great. They don't.
There's no way.
No fucking way, and that's sad.
And also,
they will taste our steel.
it's so normal.
Archers, stand ready!
Academia or just in any jobs. To be on SSRIs.
After me!
Anxiety medication.
Get into position!
Mood
Units,
stabilizers.
assemble!
Be on this or that. Adderall. I have ADHD, turns out. Just need a little bit of Adderall. And how many of these people they're not even capable of stepping off whatever path they're on to rational objectives. Dude, they're on a right trail.
Get going!
Down the tracks. And they're running major educational
Form up!
this
Form
I
up!
think this is the saddest part. This is how it's always been. Anytime you are in the world, you're around people who are sleepwalking. You're waking up from infinity. You're like,
Archers, stand ready!
infinity. So you're sleepwalking at first. You don't know the condition. You program. And then somewhere along the way, by the way, so I can get out my fucking mic and I pitch my phone. It's like eating me alive. It's making me feel like a fucking ass. I have an audiobook that I did with one of my friends who runs the Foundation, the Love Supply Member Foundation. I was with Ram Dass in India with Neil Baba. It was great to see the guru. And he's been my friend for years. And so we recorded this audio book
Attack at will!
the movie of me to the movie of me. That's it. It's just an audiobook. You can even think of it as like a podcast, basically. But he's just so brilliant, and he's just been living in this like world, and was lucky enough to meet this person who like was incredible.
What is this book about?
So this book is about like kind of what we're talking about. It's like I know you know this experience because you're so generous and you give. But if you're not giving, if you don't like,
Stand ready!
if you get too caught up in like serving
Your
yourself,
unit is retreating.
if you get too compressed in the identity, you start defending, you start
Stand ready!
Commander, do it.
trying to like always placate yourself. So, but the moment that you start helping, the moment you sort of
Stand
expand your
ready.
idea of who you are beyond your body, then at least in my
Get into
experience,
position!
professional self-improvement, suddenly you feel this just talk about all the stuff at these Ram Dass retreats that I go to, and all of the like sort of mystical teachings that have emerged from all over the world to sort of point in the direction of how to sort of
My command.
out of this movie that you're in, where you're the main character. You're the main fucking character. It's a shitty fucking movie. You don't even want to be in the role. It's this guy Krishnadas came up with an idea, which is that you wake up in the fucking morning, you're the main actor in a fucking shitty goddamn movie, and you're not just acting in the movie, directing the fucking shitty movie, and you're writing reviews about how much the movie sucks. That's the movie of me. And so the moment you sort of step outside yourself and realize we're sharing the stage here together, or even better, we're the same consciousness. It's got confused by the proximity of our body. Then the movie changes. Instead of being Evil Dead 2, it becomes some,
Your unit
I don't
is
know,
retreating.
whatever you want it to be, rom-com,
Yeah.
porn.
There's a mystery that some people have solved, and they've solved it temporarily sometimes. Sometimes they fall back to the old way of thinking. But the mystery can be solved while you're alive on Earth. That at least for moments, for brief moments, the universe reveals that there's this inescapable connection of all people, of all events, of all light, of all thought, of all love, of all hate, of all of it is this insane cycle of giving and receiving and energy going back and forth. And we look at it in terms of cultural conflicts. We look at it in terms of pollution. We look at all these
Enemy
different
has
things.
captured
But what's
point
really
D.
going on is this fucking insane connectivity that it's
I don't
very
know to
difficult to
serve
be aware
such a
of
great
as a
king.
biological organism with an imperative to stay alive. That's literally burned into your DNA.
Units,
because
assemble! No
your
surrender!
being is the product of
enemy
millions of
captured the
years
point.
of things clawing and scratching to get to this point. And we're still so burdened by our origins that we can't abandon the one thing that scares the fuck out of us more than anything in life, and should. The one thing that's killed more innocent people than anything ever, and we can't even imagine the world without it.
Yeah.
All up!
That's the
Ready?
reason.
Steady! Attack!
Yeah.
The one thing that everyone would agree, think of all the horrible things that
ready?
happened in that culture.
Fall in!
Horrible shit. We can barely imagine a world where that doesn't take place sometimes. And in war,
Units,
that's
assemble!
the kind of thing that
Defend
takes
yourselves!
place. And we
The
can't
enemy is
imagine
about to
not
capture the final flag.
like we would never do that. We're just people.
Attack!
Most
Wipe
people
them
listening
out!
would never terrible fucking raising running kids down, right? Most people listening could never
My command?
even imagine doing
Loose!
that. You heard the commander. Can't imagine.
Give them hell!
Insane.
Insane.
We are preparing constantly. We spend more money preparing constantly and spending money on the thing that protects us from all the bad people in the world than
That's right.
anything else we do by far.
And the whole thing falls apart the moment you stop doing you're you, I'm me. You're bad, I'm good. These are other me's. They're the good me's. You're the bad me's.
Yes.
And the bad me's have got to go. And
Crazy.
so that's the recipe for conflict, war, fighting, just a general shitty life, is that you think that this person over there is different from you. Even though that fucking person over there is you in a different incarnation.
Okay, with this philosophy, what do you do with the border?
I love you, man.
What do you do with the border?
That's great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Right? Wouldn't you just let everybody in?
Well, man,
Right, but you can't.
weren't you the person who told weren't you the person who told me that the samurai to kill somebody has to love him first? Did you tell me that?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's definitely not true. They killed a lot of people they didn't even know.
All right. Well, then I'll throw that out of the fucking shit I say
I
when
gotta
I'm
pee
stoned.
again. I hate this, but I have to pee again.
No, I gotta
Come back
pee
in
too.
with the
You
samurai
fucking
thing.
kidding?
Sorry.
What do we do about the border?
Yeah, what do we do about the border? We were just talking about how easy these conversations are to have. That like you and I first became friends when I would call and get my availabilities. That's when we really got to know each other. It was over the
Yes.
phone. Because I would call and I'd say, hey, I'm in town Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And you'd be like, hey, man, did you see this documentary? And then we would just start talking.
it.
We would talk for like fucking an hour and a half.
So
2
long.
hours.
It was so cool, man. It was such a fun beginning of a friendship. You don't know the first time. You don't remember the first time I met you, though. I don't think.
When?
So I was with Corey Como. She was the talent coordinator at the time. And I'm sitting next to you. And this is when I think you just started smoking weed. Like, it was a relatively new thing. And you were realizing how wonderful it was. And so you were talking about how much you love weed. And I started doing the thing that you now know I do as like trying to be funny or fun. And I was about to be like, it causes brain damage. And Corey is like, Corey's like shoving me, like, going, no, don't do that, because you didn't know me. You would have just thought I was a fucking asshole.
Right.
And so I stopped. But I was like, you did give me like a sharp look for a second, and I'm like, oh fuck. But that's when we first, like, that's when I was like, we hung out for the very first time, and then we started talking. And dude, I'll never forget this car ride. Driving back from the Anaheim Improv with you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Stoned as fuck, and you put on Terrence McKenna. Some lecture that I still think about, and man, I felt like the universe was just melting down.
Yeah.
And it was really like blowing my mind. I'd read Terrence McKenna, but I'd never listened to any of his lectures. And it was just like he was talking about the singularity.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both like, God fucking damn it, this is crazy. And
Yeah, there was a series of audio, it might have been cassettes that you could get. It was on Amazon at one point in time, I think.
yeah.
But it was all these Terrence McKenna lectures, and then there was the Psychedelic Salon, where you can get all of them. Did you ever go to that podcast?
No.
Psychedelic Salon has everything. Alan Watts, every Timothy Leary,
Wow.
every Terrence McKenna, like so many hours and hours of McKenna. Amazing, because he would give like kind of similar speeches, but it was all, he just kind of would go wherever it would take him.
Yeah.
And he was so good at it because he was doing it constantly. So he would just show up to these places, and it was really interesting because he was like Timothy Leary had it wrong. Like, what I like to do is keep things small and quiet. And so he would do like, a couple hundred people here and there. Who
Yeah.
cares? Nobody bothered him.
Yeah.
You know, never got too crazy.
Yeah, man. What a man, of all of the luminaries
Yeah.
that we missed, that I didn't get to talk to or hang out with, that one, God, it would have been so cool.
I've become friends with his brother. His brother's amazing.
Dennis is really cool.
He's amazing. And Dennis is the more skeptical scientist. Like,
Yeah.
he's a legitimate scientist, and he has some very, very unique, like, informed thoughts, particularly about the stoned ape theory. That's one of the more magical ones.
Yeah.
That's one of the more magical theories, because, man, they're right. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
Because that's a nutty one, dude.
that's a nutty one.
Because if that thing, that now that became, literally is why we became human, if that thing somehow or another became a Schedule I substance in this corrupt, fucked up culture,
Right.
we could get locked in jail for the very thing that turned us into people.
right.
The very thing that the universe provided
Yeah.
for you to grow and evolve, and it's your right as an evolved creature to rebel against that to the point where you can overthrow them, because it's insane. You've let tyrants take over the ability that people have to evolve that came straight from God.
Yes.
If that's what's really going on, like that's the thing. That's like the push. That's like the people in front of Congress saying that, calling for death to the Jews doesn't constitute harassment unless it's actionable. It's like, it's a thing that makes you go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Someone's got to say, no, not only can you not take it, we're going to put you in a cage. We're going to make it the most illegal thing. Like,
Yeah.
how are you making the thing that made people? Like, what data do you have that shows this is bad? Like,
Dude,
You don't have any. How are you locking people up? That's crazy.
This is why I don't think it's Project Bluebeam. Because you could just tell people, don't eat that thing that makes you remember your God, and that you should love everyone around you, and that you're part of a holy, mystical instantiation of consciousness into time-space, because it's bad. And we're all like, okay, all right, if you say not to, I guess we can't.
But don't you think they don't know, which is part of the problem? Because if you really did know, if you'd really taken it, you would never want to stop people from taking it. So I don't think any of them have done it, which should be a prerequisite.
I
I
don't know.
Graham
dude.
Hancock said, I think he had a crazy number. He said you should have no fewer than 20 ayahuasca or psilocybin
Jesus
experiences
Christ.
if you want to be president. I'm
Now
like,
that I
Jesus.
agree with. And you should have, like...
Could you imagine if that was the thing that you had to put them through? If that was the thing. Instead of these fucking goofy debates where they're all dunking on each other and, well, you got lifts in your shoes, son. Instead of that, if instead they all had to take psychedelics and we had to have access to their psychedelic ceremonies. So you could say, did he do his 5 sessions?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see, is his 5 sessions documented? Let's make sure we can watch his 5 sessions. Let's say if he doesn't scream out wild shit, like while he's like, what is he, maybe his real intentions will be revealed.
Dude,
like maybe when he
100%.
gets, maybe he can't maybe he comes out of it a different person, doesn't want to be president anymore.
Really?
Maybe he does the 5 sessions and be like, I'm changing the course of my life. Like, what am I doing? Yeah. That sounds nuts, but if we were a healthy society, we would legitimately consider whether or not someone should have some very powerful documented psychedelic sessions that we know at a dose to be a transformative experience, and have multiple ones of those documented if you want to run things.
Dude,
and you should probably have to keep up with it too. You probably have to do it every 6 months.
I think it should be, that should definitely be on the agenda. But let's start with just get them drunk. I want to see what you're like when you're hammered.
Right.
You know a lot about a person when you're around them when they're hammered.
Dude, some guys get super goofy when they get drunk.
Yeah.
They say some stupid things.
Yeah, well, for whatever you say, we won't hold it against you. But I want to see like your energy shift when you're hammered. Like,
right.
what are you like? Are you a bully?
Are you a fun drunk?
Fun drunk?
You're
I want
happy
my
drunk?
president to be a fun drunk. I don't
Right.
want a fucking angry drunk president.
Right.
Then you move on up the list of drugs and to just, what is their consciousness like in different psychedelic states?
Right.
And then from that, we can make a true judgment on whether
Well,
they'd be
also,
a good
they'll
president.
know more about themselves and why they wanted to do it in the first place,
Right.
if they still want to do it after it's over. Because a lot of people think they want to be president just because it's hard to do. Like, there's a lot of things that are hard to do you shouldn't do.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of jobs that seem like they're good, but it's just hard to do. It's not, you don't want that.
Dude, okay, so this connects to what we're talking about. I told you about this great documentary on Netflix about this cult, Love Is One. Fascinating. This cult leader, essentially, like, my analysis of it is that the cult killed her. She started off as a cult leader, but then as things progressed...
What was her name?
I can't remember. Or Mother God is what they called her.
Here it is. This is the lady?
Yeah.
From Mother God to mummified corpse, inside the fringe spiritual sect, love has won. Amy Carlson was supposed to be the incarnate of Marilyn Monroe, Joan of Arc, and Jesus Christ. Man, that's ambitious. When she shed her earthly body for the latest time, authorities found her followers still worshiping it, shedding light on the group many have called a cult. You
It's
think?
a fucking cult!
You
I
think
can't believe
many
they
have
said it
called?
like that! That's a cult!
Many have called. Jesus, Rolling Stone, what are you doing?
Dude, that's
Many
such
have called
weird
a cult?
language.
What does that even mean?
Well, the documentary is spectacular, but what's interesting about it is that, so this person is dying. She needs to go to the hospital. Sometimes she would come out of her cult leader, I am God mentality and say to people, I don't think this is real. I don't think I'm God. And they would say to her, Mother God, you're just in your lowers right now. You're not in your higher etheric body, which is why you think you're not Mother God. You are Mother God. And in interviews, one of them, I think, said,
Enemy
"She
force
died.
tower.
I don't think you want to take them." So this cult forms around this woman, and then the cult itself enables her alcoholism. She was a profound alcoholic. Like, keeps her
The enemy siege
on.
tower is
She's like
advancing.
drinking colloidal silver till she turns fucking blue.
Oh my god.
Turns
The enemy
blue,
siege tower is
and like
advancing.
the cult, like essentially like devours her until they're worshiping her mummified body. I'm comparing this to the presidency. Well, I don't know if that they just like let her like sit in a sleeping bag. You can see the picture if you want to see the picture of it.
Yeah, I want.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty wild.
How rough is it?
Not, I mean, the way that her, whatever the eyes are that they put there really do seem to be gay.
Arm up on me!
Intense.
You heard the commander.
I'm not sure it was her eyes. I read that they painted it, or it's like, dude, it is. You will love this documentary, by the way.
The exact photo, yeah, but this is like where
That's it. She's turning blue.
Oh wow. And that's from the colloidal silver?
Yeah, Mother God.
God, that's so weird. And what was she trying to recover from with this colloidal silver?
Well, she
Arm
had
up!
some kind of organ failure going on, and like
Enemy battering ram
anorexia.
has reached the
Oh
gates.
no.
But she was drinking, and she was getting hammered all the time.
Organ failure, drinking, and anorexia all together.
Yeah,
Our gate
and
has
it's a
been
fascinating
destroyed.
story because she was a manager at McDonald's, took MDMA, and boom, there you go.
Oh my god. God, her skin is blue as fuck.
Yeah,
That's what it was like before she died?
yeah,
Did you ever see that one dude that went on like Oprah or something like that? His
Yeah.
skin was blue.
Papa Smurf guy.
Yeah. Same thing, right?
Same
The
thing.
enemy
How many
siege
people
tower
have
has
done
reached
that?
the walls.
Google how many people have turned blue. People turning blue.
The enemy
using
siege
colloidal
tower
silver.
reached
Take
the walls.
cover!
Our
You
gate has
heard the
been destroyed.
commander. Do it.
This is another one of her. Mother God, Robin Williams, and alcohol is medicine. That's
Robin Williams talked to her. Like, she had contact. She channeled Robin Williams.
oh
who-
Jesus!
No, dude, it is. But
I can't wait to watch it.
so
I love a good cult documentary, dude.
I didn't mean to derail our conversation about the president. What I mean is that it's a similar thing. You start off wanting to be president, and you become president. But then you're in this system that where you're trapped. Like, you gotta have security for the rest of your life. I think it's mandatory. Like, if you've been president, that means you are being constantly monitored for the rest of your life by the U.S. government. Like, it's a similar fucking thing. Like, you're like, even if you have the best intentions, by the time you get in there and you have to start making these rotten decisions, you have to feel the hate of at least half the country every fucking day. The psychic hate of half the country, probably more than half of the world. It crushes you. It kills you. So it's a really dangerous, shitty, rotten that you trapped yourself in,
Into position!
and then you don't want to leave because what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do after you experience that level of power? How do you go back to regular life?
Well, you're never ready for whatever. You know, who was banished the best? I guess banished.
I mean, but well, look what he started doing. He started doing those paintings of people in the military and the war that he started. I think Jimmy Carter did a pretty good banishing act. Like, he kind of dropped out. You didn't hear about him that much. Obama, now he's like directing movies now and stuff.
But W did 2 terms. You know?
Yeah, right.
2 terms, 8 years. During the height of the war on terror.
Protect your commander!
In 9/11 that he got elected. So he gets elected, it's 2020, and then 2021, or 2001 rather, we have 9/11. So it's like not that long after he was president, and then all of a sudden his approval rating goes up. Everybody likes him more.
Right.
And for 8 years, this guy was involved with this war that now everybody thinks of.
The enemy has captured Conquerors.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of
Don't be worried about those.
just where people with machine guns like standing around, keep eye
Yeah.
out for
Because for sure there's someone coming for you. Like, for sure there's somebody out there who's like, I'm just going to kill him someday. I'm just going to get to him. That's how you have to wake up, just knowing that your life.
you go attack on stage.
It's
That's like
Closer!
20 years.
Hurry up!
Yeah. Yeah.
As you command!
If you're like Disney,
Closer!
you can KO anything. Like, or it sounds like you
Guardians of the East.
Christian Bale played you.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah, dude.
And it's not favorable. It's not favorable moving. What did you do?
I mean, this
What
is
did you do?
this is why there's a whole strata of society that's designed for people like that I'll never see. It's some rarefied place where
It's called Bohemian Grove.
give me a break.
You can go there by canoe.
Did you watch that video?
No, you told me some guy broke into it.
Position. Stand together. Burn them. Fire.
Deo
Position. Guardians of the East. Take position! Watch your spacing! Form up! Stand together!
The enemy captured the point.
Follow.
The enemy has captured point A.
Form up! Units, assemble! Take position! Volley fire! Yes, Commander. Take position! Volley fire! Units, assemble! Volley fire! Take position! Wipe them out! Yes, Units, assemble! Volley fire! Attack and wheel! Protect the commander! Smash them! Take those steeds! Brothers, come on! Meet your maker, Axel! Fight them! Always on target! Drive them back! Order! Taste those steel! Volley fire! They will taste our steel! Death or glory! For the throne! Order! They will taste our steel! Death or glory! Arm upon me! Guardians of the East! Commander! No fear! They will taste our steel! Attack at will! For the throne! Commander! Attack! They will taste our steel! Arm up! Arm up! Flatten them! Units, assemble! Attack at will! They will taste our steel! Stand ready! You hurt? Guardians of the East. Formation.
Attack at will! Units, assemble! Up!
Take position. You heard? Change formation. Give them down. Shield wall. Warm up.
Move quickly!
In position. By your command. As you command. Can't expire. Guardians of the East. You have the commander. Do it. Protect the commanders. Guardians of the East. Stand together. Fully fire. Hold steady. Guardians of the East. Don't let him catch your breath. Nurses, attack. All troops as you command. Attack at will. Assemble. Form up. Attack at will. Attack. Units, assemble. Shield wall. Form line. Stand together. Guardians of the East. Units, assemble! Stand together! Hold position!
Position!
Brace yourselves! Units, assemble! Stand ready! For close order! Always on target! You command! Form line! Hold position! Brace yourselves! Clear! Break them! Wait now! That stings! Stand ready! As you command! Advance! Advance! Yes, Commander! Ignore this! Retreat! By now? Ah! That stings!
We captured a point.
Man, that was a fun team to play with. That was some good fights, good battles. Grouped up, took these guys out, one overtook those guys out. That was some cool stuff, man. Fun game. Everybody on our team did good. Except the guy who didn't get anything. He still got 22 kills. Not bad. Looks like he dropped because he didn't die or kill or assist. Anyways, it's that hour-long break time, time to take a break moment, so I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out, having fun, and being part of the stream. I hope you're having a wonderful night. Be right back.
Some guy broke into it.
Dude, it is the most.
What's the video? Where do we get it?
I Google guy breaks into Bohemian Grove. It's
And
truly
not Alex
disappointing.
Jones and John Ronson.
It's
That was
truly
like in the
disappointing.
90s.
But and I think they definitely get high there because I think he saw a sign in one of the cabins that said no marijuana. No,
I
that's
think there's a few people that have done it.
this might be someone introducing it, but the one I saw was just first person POV of the guy going through the Bohemian Grove. This isn't it. No, this isn't it. It's at night. They might have. It was on Instagram. They might have already zapped it. There it is. Our guy sneaks into infamous Bohemian Grove. That could be it, but I guess a lot of people have done this. This is something that.
Posted 2 days ago.
Yeah, this is it.
That's it?
He got in
Okay.
deep.
Okay, this must be it. Okay.
Just
So this is him. He's wearing a mask. And how's he sneaking in through the woods?
I heard it was a kayak, but maybe not.
Hmm. Well, how did he get in?
No idea.
Whoa. Yo, I want to go to Bohemian Grove.
Me too. We could go.
We
You
could
could
go.
go in a second. I want to go. And
What do we have to do? Who do we have to pledge our allegiance to
Uh,
watch the ritual?
I don't think that. Think they would just probably think you're funny and will let you in.
Really?
Yes. Look, does this look sinister? None of this looks
Hold on.
sinister to me.
Looks a little sinister to me, buddy. Looks like no one's there.
It's
They don't-
nice
they
and
don't-
mossy.
They don't have a ritual every day.
It's romantic. Look at that nice moss.
Is that the owl?
That's the owl, but watch when he bangs on it and you realize it's fucking hollow.
Look, it's got all the moss and everything.
It's
on it.
beautiful.
Looks cool. So when is he banging on
Look, this is inside the fucking owl,
it? Okay.
not a stone megalith like I thought.
Well, it's like got a little space in there. But it seems like it's made out of cement, dude. When is
Whatever,
it-
it's
when is it-
hollow.
Like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Or like one of those bunnies, when you get an Easter bunny
Yeah.
and it's hollow, you get upset.
Like a putt-putt golf course, like a fucking thing at a putt-putt course. No offense, Bohemian Grove members, I do want to come. I'll take your hollow owl. But I'm sorry, this to me, I think it like now look, this is I guess their bathroom. It's
That's
all worn,
Nixon shit there.
it's all worn down. It's like
Yeah, it's probably they kept it the same as it's always been. I mean, if you got to imagine if these guys were going there, when they start going there in the '60s.
Yeah.
When they start going there, logs.
that's the funny thing. Everything he sees is sinister to him. There he goes back in his kayak.
Oh, okay. So he did have a
He's
kayak.
fucking out.
It seems kind of crazy that they don't have any security there at all.
Another sign that it's not as sinister as we thought.
Is he using a frying pan? This guy's a loon. This guy's a straight loon.
He's using a frying pan.
Maybe he felt like he would also act as a weapon to crack alligators over the head with if they were coming after him or something. There's no alligators in California, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure the security guard was just like, this happens every night, and this one he's like, I gotta take a shit. Like, I'm not dealing with another.
Another fucking loony.
But like,
But the thing is, like, we know that world leaders at least used to meet there. I mean, the Nixon audio tapes are hilarious. Ever hear Nixon talking about it? The faggiest thing I've ever seen.
yeah, Nixon dissed it.
See if Nixon, pull up the audio of Nixon talking about Bohemian Grove. Apparently, they did a lot of wild shit back then.
I think they still probably do. I'm not saying they don't party there, but I just
How many politicians are like that? How many politicians are like closet super perverts?
In January 1970,
I don't.
You know?
in another of the candid and sometimes coarse conversations released today, the president muses about anti-Semitism. He's talking to evangelist Billy Graham and worries about reaction to the Washington visit of Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir, because Israel has just shot down a Libyan passenger plane.
Anti-Semitism is almost hysteria about the bombing. We all know.
I'm sorry. I don't know where in this video it is.
Oh,
Probably hard to find. It's probably a little clip.
yeah, you got to find the Bohemian Grove part.
This is apparently some other tape.
Yeah, where were the weirdos?
He's
who
just
think-
talking about all kinds of shit. From the lost Nixon tapes. Gays are born that way. Well, he was right. Congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know. I was
Yeah.
It's not coming up right away.
Nixon, Bohemian Grove, huh? Nothing? Scroll down a little bit.
It
Maybe.
starts to get muddier.
Seems like you'd find it right away.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, Nixon on Bohemian Grove.
That's it. Let's
It's
see.
the same video.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 minute.
No, this is it.
Right, yeah.
This is the right one.
As spring began
1971.
to bloom in Washington, D.C., President Nixon took the time to have an impromptu conversation with two of his close aides. H.R. Haldeman.
Look at that
John
guy.
Ehrlichman,
They look like
known
dudes
by
from the
Nixon's
60s.
Yeah.
fans as the Berlin Wall because of their German-sounding names and their penchant for isolating Nixon from anyone who wanted to see him. The only problem was, this little off-the-cuff conversation was being recorded by the secret White House taping system. President Nixon's thoughts, as well as those of Haldeman and Ehrlichman, would soon become a part of presidential history.
Let's look at Northern California. You understand? Yeah. You know what's happened in San Francisco. San Francisco is just gone. It's clear over. I know that, but it isn't.
San Francisco's just gone down clear. It's not just the ratty part of town. The upper class in San Francisco is that way. The Bohemian Grove that I attend from time to time. Easterners that come there. This is the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine. The San Francisco crowd goes there. It's just terrible. I don't want to shake hands with anybody from San Francisco.
It's a different set of values.
They've messed up my grove.
A different set of values.
Yeah.
Reagan.
So they were all there hanging out together.
Yeah.
He said, I go there from time to time.
Yeah, I just don't think it's. I mean, look, I was hoping, I was so excited by that video. I'm grateful to whoever filmed it because I was like, oh shit, the owl up close. Because Alex Jones only got the distant owl, which is still good footage.
Right.
But this is like close up of the owl. You missed the urn in front. They have a bowl in front of the owl. I mean, again, I can't believe I have an expectation for the Bohemian Grove, but I thought they would be doing better upkeep on their cabins.
Well, maybe once they got found out, they don't go there anymore.
Move to a different grove.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they just abandon that fucking thing? If you're the Illuminati, if the Illuminati's real, why would you stick with a place that's already been, like, outed when you can get some dope spot in Wyoming or something?
Exactly.
Yeah, you just get some place where people have to helicopter in.
Yeah.
No one's going to hike in. No one knows where the fuck it is. Everybody shut your mouth.
Right.
The middle
Yeah, I
siege
don't-
tower is
Spring.
preparing to advance.
Hey, maybe. Hey, I'll tell you this. If I would not doubt if there were an Illuminati, it would not surprise me at all to know some of them go to Burning Man. That would make
I would
sense.
imagine they would go just to keep their fucking finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Like, what are you freaks up to?
Dude, they flew, the one I went to, they flew what are they called? F-22? They just, there's a military base near there that wanted to fuck with Burning Man, and they flew over Burning Man a few times just to blow everyone's mind and freak everyone out. It was
How
tripping.
fast were they going?
Fast as fuck. It was crazy.
How low were they?
Low. It was like shoot, shoot. Like it was
Really low?
so. I mean, I was pretty high, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, it was so funny looking around at the faces of all the burners after like high tech military aircraft just flew over. I think they just wanted to look at the festival, probably.
No, they're fucking with those people.
Well,
They're having fun.
I would do that if I was a fighter pilot. Definitely fly over
Why
Burning
wouldn't you
Man.
have fun with fucking hippies? Clean your feet.
They're not all hippies.
Oh no, there's a lot of different kinds of weirdos that go to those things. But it is interesting, like how significant it is a part of people's lives that they go to Burning Man. Like it becomes like a thing that they look forward to. Like it's their Olympics every year.
It's one of the best things I ever experienced as far as like festivals go. I mean, changed my life for the better for sure. It's incredible. I mean, it really. I know that you will never go, but if you did go, you would get it. And that's what I love.
I get it.
It's got a force field around it, a cultural force field where people have an idea about what it is, and you can't really have an idea about what it is because it's too big.
Right.
Your idea about what it is correct, like for a piece of the pie, but you really can't you can't know all of what it is other than like this incredible expression of art and an incredible like temporary example of like humans can do this too. We don't have to blow shit up. We can drive around in garish, fancy art cars, dressed like weirdos with like playing like awesome music and like just have fun together. Like that is possible too. And the fact that it's hard to get there and a difficult terrain definitely helps strain some people out. So the people who come there are really fascinating. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's like the force field where people are like, that's where douchebags go, or that's where annoying ass fucking hippies go. Yes, you are correct. They're there. But that's not all that's there. And so it's a mystical, I mean, I'm telling you, it's a mystical place. It's one of the most mystical things I ever encountered.
Well, that's probably what's going to happen somewhere, just like the United States of America. Like, the United States of America is only 3 people old, you know? Like, just if you just stop and think about what these people decide to do to escape the confines of society that they found themselves trapped in, and all the tyranny, they escaped. And they came to a new land, started new, and there's a lot of, you know, not a happy story in all forms.
No.
The battering
A lot of
ram
fucked up things
tower
went
has
down,
reached
but
the walls.
the idea that that can never happen again seems kind of silly. Like, it's happened so many times. I mean, it wouldn't be an easy thing to do, and people are definitely going to resist. That's the thing that you have to be, like, really aware of. If you tried to start another country right now, the country you're from would come and fuck with you. They do not want you doing that. Like, if we just, like, imagine, what if the climate change people are right, and everybody looked at Greenland, and we just went in and bought Greenland? You know, like, remember there was a joke that Trump was talking about buying Greenland?
Yes.
He promised that he wouldn't do this. He put a meme up. It was hilarious, of a giant, like, Trump tower. It says Trump on it because I promise I won't do this to Greenland.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like, who the fuck is that much awareness?
Yeah.
Like, as a president to do that. But if someone bought Greenland, and if climate change does keep happening, and, like, all of a sudden
The middle
Greenland
siege tower has reached the
becomes
walls.
nice.
Yeah.
Becomes a good spot. Temperate climate because of where it's at. It's like the rest of the world's a little too hot, but Greenland's perfect. And then the people that escape, what's wrong with how the United States has been run, what's wrong with money in politics, what's wrong with money in the pharmaceutical industrial complex, being able to advertise and control politicians, and all the shit that you saw over the last few years, and all the shit you see with war, all the shit you see right now. If someone started a new
Guardians of the East.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
I mean, you need space colonization for that to happen. Like, you need some kind of...
Or a disaster.
Or a
giant,
fucking disaster.
Giant disaster. Like a big one. Like
Yeah.
a big, crazy asteroid impact type deal.
Our team has captured
where
point A.
everything's fucked.
Collective consciousness shift. I mean, I know that's like such new age bullshit to say, but like theoretically, if there was some shift in consciousness, then maybe there would be you would really have to have like a complete shift in like value. And then if that happened, you could see some new way of running things.
Well, don't you think that shift is happening right in front of our eyes? It's hard to see because we're looking at it through the lens of a person who exists day by day. But if you just went back to when you and I, when did we first meet?
Dude, 2012?
No,
Pre-2012,
earlier than that.
because we were talking
Had
about
to
the
be
Mayan
earlier than that.
apocalypse.
When did you first start working at the store?
Late 90s. Oh yeah, I've been there for a long time, dude. I'm really
you're
bad
crazy.
with
2012 was nuts. I've known you from the
No,
90s.
dude, I'm so bad with time.
I
Like
think I met you in like 99 or something.
99,
like that.
probably 99.
Something like that. 99,
Yeah.
2000. Back then, marijuana was illegal, and the only way to get a hold of it in California is you have to have a medical license.
Right.
So we used to get medical licenses to get it. And the idea of psychedelics at all being accepted in any positive way was alien.
Right.
You never heard about PTSD being treated like MAPS wasn't. They hadn't done their studies yet.
Right.
With MDMA, they hadn't done the psilocybin studies. You hadn't heard
Right.
about ibogaine for helping people get off opiates. Opiates weren't even a problem then, right? It wasn't. There wasn't not a thing that people were
Right.
talking about. To go from that to where we are now, where there are states that have decriminalized it, and then it was there was a proposal from California, but Newsom rejected it because they didn't have like a protocol in place. So come back when you have like some sort of a, if you're going to use it for therapy, some sort of a therapeutic protocol, which, you know, would probably makes sense. Like not just decriminalizing it, but decriminalizing it and setting boundaries for use. Like this is how you should do it. If you I guess it's not even weight dependent. Apparently mushrooms are not weight dependent. Yeah. But how they do it? Like how many studies have been done with dosing, you know, that are 100 pounds up to 300 pounds. How many studies did that? But the thing is, they're doing those things, and you can get ketamine from a fucking licensed therapist now, and people are traveling on a regular basis to go to South America to do ayahuasca. It's really common. There's ayahuasca tourism. Everybody talks about doing it.
Right.
There's so many people that are microdosing. There's so many people in Silicon Valley that are microdosing and openly talking about it. It's a different world than it was just from the time you and I met.
Right.
So it's happening right in front of us.
Right.
It's just not moving at a pace that corresponds with our understanding of it.
Right.
Like we're saying, like, how can you say it's illegal? Like, how are you making it illegal? It doesn't make any sense. This is a thing that's made by people to control other people. And in this one, you're not helping anyone.
Right.
You're hurting people. It's overall known that this is a fact.
Right.
But it's taking time for that idea to be accepted. People have to die. Generations have to pass. New ideas have to be cemented in people's heads because they're so ideologically entrenched in what they initially believe.
Right.
That's why it's so hard for vegans to go back to eating meat. Like, they can't.
Slow drip, baby. I mean, look, you know, again, it's like, this is the other thing, is like, if you judge a tree by its fruit, I love what you're pointing out there. If you look at the fact that this is happening, the implication is there are people in positions of power recognizing that there's just no fucking way we're going to legalize acid and mushrooms and MDMA, you fucking hippies. We're not doing it overnight. Give us some time. There's people who clearly recognize that and are slowly turning the dial and shifting into whatever the future of humanity looks like, where we're not encumbered by draconian consciousness limitations. So the implications is people in positions of power who are 100% for humans having access to their birthright. And that's exciting to think about. I don't know what people are, no idea, but I'm glad they're out there.
It's all happening. It's just all at once. And so many things, and we have so much access to it. And then we also have so many lies. And it's all just slamming into each other left and right in front of us, like little ideological car accidents.
I know.
Just like the truth and fiction and narrative and bullshit and what we want to believe versus what's really true.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I get grabbed all the time.
And good guys and
Capture the
fucking
point.
bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And the way one group of people looks at one thing versus the way another group of people both seem kind of like rational.
Yeah.
How? How are you guys so far apart in your ideas? How are we so divided about so many unimportant things?
Yeah.
When the important things are not being resolved. People, you would want to keep them doing what we're doing. Just constantly arguing about the dumbest shit. The things that we can't, and having very little understanding of what you're really fucking passionate about.
Right.
And you're just still yelling it out anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you want to, and also you want to make them feel completely impotent and completely out of control and helpless.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is by, again and again, make them think that they are a limited, temporary, organic body, that when it dies, it's dead forever. Make them feel like this is all there is, so you better fucking go for it. And going for it means grinding and hurting other people to get your fucking whatever it is you're looking for, because that's all you got anyway, man.
Yeah.
And you got to go. So if you keep the fixation on that paradigm, then yeah, you can probably control a shit ton of people.
Well, that's what they liked about COVID. One of the things they liked about it was that they could control you. If they could get you to get vaccinated, if they can get you to do that, they could force you to do a thing. That's a level of control they've never had over adults before. It's a new thing, you know? And if it's profitable and it's also this thing you're forcing people to do, boy, that gets sketchy. Boy, that gets sketchy.
Well, yeah, I mean, but there's so many other...
And it happened.
Did you ever see the video of someone bitching about seatbelt laws?
Yes, I love it. It's from like the 1970s.
I'll never wear a fucking
This is
seatbelt.
basically communism. Can't have a beer after you get home from work. You know,
Yeah.
that's what the guy's talking about.
I feel like there's been endless iterations of this sort of flexing where you're like, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's just the insurance. That's the seatbelt thing. It's just people were dying. It's like costing too much money, and they made laws. It's
But
not like they care about you.
our willingness to accept regulation.
Exactly. Our willingness to accept regulations. I'm trying to pull up this. I'm looking for this thing because it's wild hearing him say it. Yeah, here it is. And you hear Fauci actually say it. It's just like, wow. Why would you say that out loud?
Audience of the East.
Like you're. This is not what you should be saying. But listen to this.
Hold position. Brace yourself. Get into position.
Because this is what everybody says.
Hold steady.
This way.
Talk about something who faded out. Whatever happened? He just disappeared.
As you come out.
It reveals what he really wanted out of all those COVID mandates.
As you come out.
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you were going to have schools, universities,
as you come out.
and colleges that are going to say, you want to come to this college study, you're going to get vaccinated. It's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bull and they get vaccinated.
Dude, if that was in a movie, it'd be cheesy. That's like they don't know the hot mic is on, the villain gets revealed.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I never saw that.
Isn't that wild? Isn't this just wild when he thinks that way?
That's why they fucking turned his mic off, dude. Because they're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You always say that at the Bohemian Grove. You can't say that out loud.
Just read Robert Kennedy's book. Robert Kennedy's book is more terrifying. And I've always said if it's not true, why isn't he getting sued? Because if it is true, you should all be freaked out. And I know millions of people have read that book now, but it's not reviewed. You don't hear it talked about. It's not like a thing the mainstream media brings up. Just the actual facts that he's laying out, just not even from COVID, from the AIDS epidemic. Just go back and listen, just read that book or listen to the audiobook, and just the stuff about AZT is wild. And using the same language. He was using it, the AZT is both safe and effective.
Right.
Using that same language for something that fucking killed people
Ready for
quicker
battle.
than anything.
Dude, if only they had been... I feel like if they've been honest when they came out with the vaccine and been like,
that's no way.
There's
no
a
way they
chance
do
it's going to fuck you up.
That's not what they do. They never do that.
But then
Never.
if they'd done that, that's so...
They can't start doing that. They've never done that. And not only do they not do that, but they're allowed to run multiple studies. And if they can find one that they can rig in a way that some sort of a finagle shows some kind of positive benefit, that's the one they run with. And they can have 8 studies that don't show it, or 8 studies that show it's bad, and they just push it away. And then on top of that, what gets even weirder is when someone goes to review these studies, they don't get the actual data. They get the review of the data from the pharmaceutical drug companies, and then they get to review what their findings were. They don't get to review the actual data. The whole thing is nuts.
You really think the COVID vaccine was bad for you?
What?
I'm just kidding.
I don't even think that. That's not even what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they have a standard way that they handle any kind of medication.
Yeah, dude.
That's how you make the most money.
I mean, it's when, like, you know, that collision between profit and medicine, it's such a dark place. It's so dark when you're at the hospital and you realize they have a motive to keep you here. Like the doctors, they've done their oath. They might not, but the hospital itself can implement certain rules and regulations that have a higher probability of keeping you in there longer so that it's more expensive. And that's where it gets fucking weird. And when it comes to pharmaceutical companies or anything that's profiting off of sickness, it's like, you know, it's like I don't know if there's what do you call the sugar industry? Big sugar?
Big sugar.
Big sugar. And the pharmaceutical companies, these are like happy bedfellows because one is poison, the other fixes the damage from the poison. And so when suddenly there's a profit motive behind it, ooh, shit's gonna get weird because the lobbyists for the pharmaceutical companies theoretically would not want regulation on weird dyes and shit that Big Sugar's putting in stuff, because that is going to reduce the profit for whatever medication they use to treat the damage from the fucking dyes.
Isn't that nuts?
Do they work together? Do they have meetings about this? How much have they thought it through? You know, we're going to see a big dip in our insulin profits if they regulate how much sugar is in Oreos. Like, there's going to be a direct hit on our fucking industry if that happens.
Do you think they do it that far?
I don't think so. I pray that they don't, but it wouldn't surprise
wouldn't you
me.
do it if you had an obligation to your shareholders? You're supposed to make the most amount of money possible. Isn't that part of your job?
That's what you tell
You'd have
yourself,
to
I
do it.
guess.
You would have to do it that way.
Yeah,
You'd have
man.
to say, like, let these people eat their fucking sugar. I want to buy a yacht.
Yeah.
I want them to eat their goddamn sugar.
You know, just say the cereal's fucking good for you. You know,
Cereal's good for you.
it's fucking great for you.
It's great for you.
This is a healthy.
Do you know one of the biggest drugs, emerging drugs, like over the last few years, been blood thinners?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, how much of an increase in the prescriptions for blood thinners have there been over the last few years?
What is that?
Someone was talking about it because of strokes. Someone was talking about it. I need to find out if it's true, though. It's one of those things that I was watching this YouTube video where some doctor was discussing the uptick in blood thinners. They were also talking about heart medications and heart issues and the uptick in heart issues.
So scary.
It's a large uptick. It's an uptick that if it was anything else, people would be really looking into it. If it was diet, if all of a sudden like some new food was introduced into the food system that we never ate before, but then all of a sudden there was a corresponding big uptick in all-cause mortality, people would start thinking, like, I wonder if it's this new thing that just got introduced. Like, if it was anything else.
Do you remember when, okay, so I don't know if you remember science class, but I remember one of the things that I thought was exciting about science was it, or maybe I just had a good teacher who was like, anyone can be a scientist. Like, that's the whole beauty of the method.
Right.
This is a way to interrogate reality,
Yes.
to find out what the truth is. And you know, anyone, you don't have to wear a fucking lab coat. Anyone should and could use this method to differentiate superstition from reality, cognitive bias from reality. It's very exciting suddenly to be like, oh yeah, I don't have to be Isaac Newton to be a scientist.
Right.
I can just use these methods in my own weird little experiments. And then something happened where suddenly the articulation of what you think is the truth, even if you're fucking wrong, became off limits. You couldn't say what you're talking about right now out loud. You weren't supposed to anymore. And people would even say, don't do your own research.
Right.
Don't investigate. Stop. You're not of the scientific class.
Guardians of the East.
You don't even understand this shit. Stop. It's misinformation. When it's like, fuck. Like, instead of saying stop, challenge it. Like, my favorite, it's funny reading the arguments between physicists. I don't know if you've ever seen that when they fight, like when scientists get in big fucking fights. It's so funny. And that was part of this tradition of science, is like scientists weren't all these placid, like soft, sweet.
They are when you deny them funding if they're not.
Oh, God, that's so dark.
And that's what happens. Money takes over medicine.
So fucked up.
Money takes over politics. Money takes over military. Money takes over environment. Money takes over green energy. Duncan, it's all about green energy. It's all about the Green Deal. Our Green Deal is going to fix it all.
Oh, yeah.
And people are just raking in money on this Green Deal.
Yeah.
This Green Deal. We got partners in the Green Deal.
Fuck
we're going
yeah.
to stop this and we're going to form that, and we're going to have a coalition, and no more gas cars. And then everybody's car has a limiter on it now. You can only go 65 miles an hour. That's it.
Yeah.
That's going to reduce deaths. Don't you want to reduce deaths? And we want a kill switch. I mean, what if a bad guy's running away?
We could just
Want to be
stop
able to
him.
shut the car off.
No more police
Or
chases.
what if you have a bad tweet?
Stop your fucking car.
And we just decide to stop your car and don't even tell you why we stopped
Your car pulls over and says, fucking retweet it. It's
Yeah.
not, or revise. Not, I would like that for my unfunny
Is there
tweets.
something you'd like to fix? Like it pulls over and the thing just says, is there something you'd like to fix?
That tweet wasn't funny, Duncan. Yet again.
Is there something I should fix? Perhaps one of your tweets.
Okay.
Yeah, please delete the offending tweet. Okay. Continue. And then you can drive again.
Yeah, man.
That's not outside the
Guardians
realm of
of the
possibility. If some guy got arrested and went to jail for shit posting a meme about Hillary Clinton about the voting thing. You know that one?
Yeah,
where the guy
dude.
said you don't have to go vote in person. Do 555. We found out that guy apparently. See if I believe this is true. He just posted it. The guy who got arrested. I don't think he created it.
When I was digging through that
He just
yesterday,
posted a meme.
He did post it, but I couldn't tell in the wording of it if he'd asked someone to make it for him and then he posted it. I couldn't.
I believe he said that he didn't make it. I believe he said that in an interview.
But what if he asked someone to make it for him?
Right, that's possible too. Yeah.
Or paid someone to make it
right.
for him.
Totally possible.
Dude,
yeah,
that's
that would be different. You could say I didn't make it. Yeah.
the fucking e-car thing, man. That it's just like, dude, I don't want to have something monitoring me all the fucking time like an e-car, or like you're saying, I don't want the ability for someone to turn this shit off. Or
I think they already have it in some cars. I think they have it with OnStar. I think that's one of the capabilities. See if that's true. Does OnStar have the capability of shutting off a car?
A gas
if
car?
It's a hot pursuit.
Gas car? Oh,
I believe
fuck.
so. I believe it's a computer program because it allows you to start your car and it'll open. You can have like a friend of mine locked his keys accidentally in his Suburban. He called OnStar. OnStar unlocked his car so he could go in and get his keys.
On their website, the videos, it's part of what they sell.
The mid-rise siege tower is carrying to
Carjacked and kidnapped. When a woman's SUV is stolen with her mother and grandchildren inside, OnStar helps save the day. So OnStar shut the car off. So that's great if it does this. If a woman got kidnapped with her cute little kid, I want to know if those are real people or if those are crisis actors.
OnStar stops fleeing felon and stutter.
Yeah. So OnStar already has the ability to do that. So that kill switch that everybody's asking for already exists if you have some cars. And if those cars, is it just a GM that has OnStar? Is OnStar only General Motors, or is it like just a car thing? I feel like it's like a General Motors thing. I think it's Cadillacs. Yeah, I wonder if they allow it in other cars though. Is OnStar in other cars outside of General Motors cars, or is it only?
I mean, the good news is no one will ever hack that and use it for other things.
Never.
It's completely safe. That will
It's
never
totally-
be used
Yeah.
against what OnStar's using it for. It'll only stop kidnappers.
Your unit is retreating.
Yeah, I remember being at a Pink Floyd laser light show when I was in high school. And it was the saddest thing, man, because another brick in the wall, we don't need no education, comes on at a laser light show, which is already depressing because it's definitely not Pink Floyd. It wasn't even that good a laser light show. And there's a security guard. He's like, he's probably in his 20s. It's a shit job. He's got to be the security guard at the laser light show, and then like the crowd turns on him. Just because he was in a security guard uniform and that song comes on and everyone starts raging against this guy. It was so weird. It's like, what? Are you going to start attacking this guy? He's like,
That's the problem with uniforms.
Yeah.
Uniforms allow you to assume a position of power over people, but also you become the enemy. Like you're wearing the uniform of the authority. And you're just a person. Most cops are just fucking people. All cops. They're just people.
Yeah.
Just humans. But you put them in a fucking outfit and you give them guns. Like, that's, you want to talk about a responsibility difficult to handle.
Oh, God.
That was crazy.
Dude, there's like some jobs in this world that I think about and they're like, motherfuck, ER doctor.
Oh, my God.
Fuck that. Trauma doctor. Fuck that. Police officer? It's like, God Christ in heaven every fucking night.
Every fucking night.
You're just driving around. You're thinking about your fucking kids.
Yep.
And you get a weird call. And the next thing you know, there's some dude running at you with a chainsaw that you're begging to stop because you don't want to fucking kill him.
Right.
Oh, what a horrible job. And they, the amount of money you should get paid for that versus what they make. Like.
Big gap.
Big gap.
Big gap. Yeah.
And then you're getting PTSD. You're not sleeping at night.
Sure. I was watching a video today of a guy telling a guy not to reach for his gun. He's got some guy pulled over, and he's like, "Do not reach into your band. Don't reach for that gun. Don't reach for your fucking gun." And the guy's like standing there with his hands like this, and he just goes in, and boom, the guy's got to shoot him.
And
this dude just reaches for his gun. And then there was another one where they didn't realize this guy had a gun, and he shot one of the cops, and the other cop unloaded on him. Like, fuck, man. Like, every time they pull someone over, this is like some regular-looking dude, too. He didn't even look like a criminal. He looked like a handsome young guy. Just and he had a gun. He didn't look like a homeless person. Didn't look like an ex-con. He just looked like a regular guy. And they pull him over, and it took him by surprise. The guy just pulls a gun out, starts shooting. Like, they never know when someone's a full-on psycho. You're pulling people over, and you're a cop, and the lights are on. You got them in that pressure situation. Maybe they have warrants. Maybe they did something horrible just now, and you didn't even know. You just pulled them over, luckily.
Yeah.
They're just shooting at you. Jesus. And so they have that fear every fucking time they pull someone over.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny, dude. I got into watching those sovereign citizen videos. You ever watch those?
They're hilarious.
And the cops, like, they're so sick of it, and they, like, it's the funniest thing to watch them, like, deal with their, like, fifth sovereign citizen. It's like, it's so, but it's like, on top of all that other shit, you know, possibly getting your shot, or the person you're working with gets shot. Also, on top of that, you're having to deal with, like, that other, just the other element.
Well, also, everybody's lying to you.
Naturally.
Everywhere you go, you're running into people that created problems, and when you talk to them, they're lying. Like, that's got to be like 90%. Have you ever had a drink, sir? Are you drinking tonight, sir? You know, like, why is she unconscious? Like, what happened here? What's this blood coming from? Like, who hit this person? Who, you know, what happened here?
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day everyone's lying. And everyone looks at you like you're the professional enemy, especially if you have to work in here.
Dude, there's a great app people can get, man. I can't remember the name of it, but, like, when you get pulled over, you're about to get popped, you just start the fucking app because it tells you what to do, like, so that you don't, like, you don't have to, like, infuriate the fucking cop. It's just exactly what you say, which is basically like, I'm gonna need a lawyer, am I under arrest, like all this stuff, but not so you don't have to, like, remember all this shit. And so because what that does is if you do get busted, that if you do this just the right way, then you have a higher chance of whatever the fuck you did being sort of dismissed, thrown out. Like, I can't remember the name of the app.
Take the right steps.
You took the right steps, because it's good to know those.
Incriminating.
Good to know those steps, because, by the way, that's the other fucking thing. Like, their job is not to, like, suddenly befriend you at 3 a.m. when they fucking pull you over and be your best. Their job is to fucking find out, did you commit a crime?
Right.
And if you fucking are so dumb that you admit to that, then that's kind of your fault. I mean, that's your fault. So like that app, I wish I could remember. Me too, thank God!
I'm getting pulled over at. Let's wrap it up. Duncan Trussell, your book, one more time.
Oh, the movie of me to the movie of me. It's an audiobook.
It's available on Audible.
Yeah. It's only on Audible. It's not really a book.
Okay.
But it's on Audible. The movie of me to the movie of me.
And then your podcast.
The Duncan Trussell Family Hour, and I'm going to be at the Denver Comedy Works in January. Please come. You can
One of the greatest clubs ever.
It used to be the greatest club before you fucked everything up with the mothership. But you can find all my dates at DuncanTrussell.com.
All right. Beautiful. I love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Archers, stand ready. Take position. Volley fire. Listen to my order. Take position.
Following is a conversation with Guillaume Verdon, the man behind the previously anonymous account based Beth Bezos X. These two identities were merged by a doxing article in Forbes titled "Who is Based Beth Bezos, the leader of the tech elite e-actors movement?" So let me describe these two identities that coexist in the mind of one human. Identity number one, Guillaume, is a physicist, applied mathematician, and quantum machine learning researcher and engineer, receiving his PhD in quantum machine learning, working at Google on quantum computing, and finally launching his own company called Stropic that seeks to build physics-based computing hardware for generative AI. Identity number two, Jeff Bezos on X, is the creator of the effective accelerationism movement, often abbreviated as EAC, that advocates for propelling rapid technological progress as the ethically optimal course of action for humanity. For example, its proponents believe that progress in AI is a great social equalizer, which should be pushed forward. EAC followers see themselves as a counterweight to the cautious view that AI is highly unpredictable, potentially dangerous, and needs to be regulated. They often give their opponents the labels of, quote, doomers or decels, short for deceleration. As Bev himself put it, EAC is a mimetic optimism virus. The style of communication of this movement leans always toward the memes on the walls. But there is an intellectual foundation that we explore in this conversation. Now, speaking of the meme, I am too a kind of aspiring connoisseur of research. It is not an accident that is both Jeff Bezos and Beth Bezos back to back. As we talked about, Beth admires Jeff as one of the most important humans alive, and I admire the beautiful absurdity and the humor of it all. This is the Lex Friedman Podcast, supported. Please check out our sponsor in the description. And now, dear friends, there's Guillaume. Let's get the facts of identity out first. Your name is Guillaume Verdon, Gil, so you're also behind the anonymous account on X called Bezos. So it's Guillaume Verdon. You're a quantum computing guy, physicist, applied mathematician. And then Dave Bezos is basically a meme account that started a movement with a philosophy behind it. So maybe you just key your finger on who these people are in terms of characters, in terms of communication styles, in terms of philosophies.
I mean, with my main identity, I guess, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to figure out a theory of everything to understand the universe. And that path led me to theoretical physics eventually, right? Trying to answer the big questions of why are we here? Where are we going? Right? And that led me to study information theory and try to understand physics from the lens of information theory. Understand the universe as one big computation. And essentially, after reaching a certain level, studying black hole physics, I realized that I wanted to not only understand how the universe computes, but sort of compute like nature, and figure out how to build and apply computers that are inspired by nature, so physics-based computers. And that sort of brought me to quantum computing as a field of study to, first of all, simulate nature. And in my work, it was to learn representations of nature that can run on such computers. So if you have AI representations that think like nature, then they'll be able to more accurately represent it. At least that was the thesis that brought me to be an early player in the field called quantum machine learning. Right? So how to do machine learning on quantum computers, and really sort of extend notions of intelligence to the quantum realm. So how do you capture and understand quantum mechanical data in the world? Right? And how do you learn quantum mechanical representations of the world? On what kind of computer do you run these representations and train them? How do you do so? And so that's really sort of the questions I was looking to answer, because ultimately I had a sort of crisis of faith. Originally I wanted to figure out, as every physicist does at the beginning of their career, a few equations that describe the whole universe, right? And sort of be the hero of the story there. But eventually I realized that actually augmenting ourselves with machines, augmenting our ability to perceive, predict, and control our world with machines is the path forward. And that's what got me to leave theoretical physics and go into quantum computing, quantum machine learning. And during those years, I I thought that there was still a piece missing. There was a piece of our understanding of the world and our way to compute and our way to think about the world. And if you look at the physical scales, at the very small scales, things are quantum mechanical. Right? And at the very large scales, things are deterministic. Things have averaged out. Right? I'm definitely here in this seat. I'm not in a superposition over here and there. At the very small scales, things are in superposition. They can exhibit interference effects. But at the mesoscales, at the scales that matter for day-to-day life, the scales of proteins, of biology, of gases, liquids, and so on, things are actually thermodynamical. Right? They're fluctuating. And after, I guess, about 8 years in quantum computing and quantum machine learning, I had a realization that I was looking for answers about our universe by studying the very big and the very small. Right? I did a bit of quantum cosmology. That's studying the cosmos, where it's going, where it came from. You study black hole physics. You study the extremes in quantum gravity. You study where the energy density is sufficient for both quantum mechanics and gravity to be relevant, right? And the sort of extreme scenarios are black holes and, the very early universe. So there's this sort of scenarios that you study the interface between quantum mechanics and relativity. And really I was studying these extremes to understand how the universe works and where is it going. But I was missing a lot of the meat in the middle, if you will, right? Because day-to-day quantum mechanics is relevant and the cosmos is relevant, but not that relevant. Actually, we're on sort of the medium space and time scales. And there, the main, theory of physics that is most relevant is thermodynamics, right? Out of equilibrium thermodynamics. Because life is, a process that is thermodynamical and it's out of equilibrium. We're not, just a soup of particles at equilibrium with nature. We're a sort of coherent state trying to maintain itself by acquiring free energy and consuming it. And that's sort of, I guess, another shift in I guess my faith in the universe happened towards the end of my time at Alphabet. And I knew I wanted to build, first of all, a computing paradigm based on this type of physics. But ultimately, just by trying to experiment with these ideas applied to society and economies and much of what we see around us, I started an anonymous account just to relieve the pressure, right, that comes from having an account that you're accountable for everything you say on. And I started an anonymous account just to experiment with ideas originally, right? Because I didn't realize how much I was restricting my space of thoughts until I sort of had the opportunity to let go. In a sense, restricting your speech back propagates to restricting your thoughts, right?
Ready for battle!
Units, assemble! For close order! For close order!
Alright, I gotta get going. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out, having fun, being part of the stream. Do appreciate it. I hope you have a nice Friday evening and a nice weekend, and that peace, love, and prosperity finds its way into your lives. Till we meet again, Jimbo Jitsu signing off.